Noor Zafar, Senior Staff Attorney with ACLU National.
Hello, Monica Allard. I'm a staff attorney with the ACLU of Vermont.
What we heard from the court today is what we have been saying for weeks and what courts have continued to repeat up and down through the litigation of this case thus far. There's absolutely no evidence that justifies detaining Ms. Ozturk for a single day, let alone the 6.5 weeks that she has been detained because she wrote a single op-ed in her student newspaper exercising her First Amendment right to express an opinion. What the court said today was that she had satisfied her burden. She had established that she had what he called very significant First Amendment and Fifth Amendment due process claims, which will be litigated during her habeas petition hearing before this court. And in the interim, she will be released on bail immediately from Louisiana. One of the dangers of what we are seeing in the government's behavior in this case is the very strong message it sends to people who are watching that you can be punished by your speech. And what we heard from the court today was confirmation that that is not what we do in this country.
That's right.
That the First Amendment protects your right to speak. It protects your ability to remain at liberty and free. And Ms. Ozturk is going to be walking out of the Louisiana Detention Center today with another one of our co-counsel so that she can come home, she can come back to her community, she can come back to Somerville, she can come back to her academics, and she can continue the life that she should be able to live.
She is free! She is free! She is free! She is free! She is free!
Glad that the court affirmed something that we knew all along, that the government has literally only one single piece of evidence for detaining Ramesa, and that is the op-ed that she wrote in her student newspaper expressing views that the government disagrees with or dislikes. And the court affirmed today the basic and fundamental First Amendment principle that we all hold dear, that that is not something that you can lock people up for. So we're so excited and so happy for Ramesa, and we're so happy that this court affirmed the basic principles that we've been fighting for all along and will continue to fight for.
6 weeks ago, ICE agents abducted Ramesa from her community in retaliation for her speech defending Palestinian human rights. The court's decision today explicitly acknowledges that this type of retaliatory conduct chills the speech of not just Ramesa, but millions of non-citizens in this country, and it's explicitly in violation of the Constitution. We are appreciative of the court granting Ms. Ozturk Ramesa release today, and we are moved by the court's reflection, very thoughtful reflection of all of the evidence that was been put forward by Ms. Ozturk and the complete lack of evidence being put forward by the government. And the court's conclusion that Ms. Ozturk is absolutely not a danger to her community, not a flight risk, but an asset to her community. Someone who's dedicated her life to her academic pursuits, to her completion of her PhD in the service of children, I think is a reflection of why the government's conduct in this case was just so objectionable. I'm going to let my colleague speak, and I'm going to also read a statement from Ms. Ozturk's other attorney who's with her currently at the Louisiana detention facility, and I'll read that statement shortly.
Being detained for 6 weeks for writing an op-ed in your school newspaper is a constitutional horror story. And as the court said today, her detention cannot stand. Today, the court decided that there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever of her dangerousness and instead found repeated evidence of her peaceful nature. We are so glad that Ramesa can continue to her studies, that she can return to her community that misses her so desperately. And I think we all heard directly from Ramesa today that in a way that her light shines through. She's clearly such a caring, compassionate person. And today we made good on the First Amendment promise of free speech, and Ramesa is going home.